Hey guys, thanks so much for watching Common Sense Cooking. I'm James, hope you have a wonderful day. So today we're going to take the garam masala spice recipe that we did a few videos ago. We're going to make some gluten-free samosas. This is the first time I've ever done this, so this is a big experiment. So we're going to start by chopping up an onion and dicing up a potato. I've already honed my knife. If you've seen my previous videos, you know what I'm talking about. And let's just get to it, okay? Alright, just washed my potato. Let's get this onion chopped. Alright, so I don't think I've ever talked about how I chop onions, and that's mostly because it's the same way that you'll probably find in most cooking shows, especially on YouTube. Most of them will, explain the same process that I take. But basically, you chop off one of the ends, then you slice it down the middle, take off that outside layer. I find that's easier if I go ahead and do a partial slice through the middle. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just going down the line and I'm chopping not all the way through. You can see I'm not just cutting it in half, cutting it into slices, but I'm leaving this end intact. And I'm just, depending on how fine I want it diced, I just make cuts accordingly. But I never cut through all the way. Alright, and then I know some people will come through and dice like this. I've never really found that it's made much difference, because when I slice this way, I don't know, I mean the way the grain in the onion is, it seems to just fall apart that way anyway, so I never bother with it. Even when I'm doing really finely diced onion, I never bother with it. So I don't know, experiment with it, maybe do 3, usually people will do 3 slices. I'll just do it, I'll show you. They'll do a slice here, not all the way through, a slice here, and then maybe a slice here, and then yeah, and you have, and I mean, I can definitely tell, this is a little more finely chopped than what I usually do, but what I found is it'll fall apart when you're cooking anyway, and so I've never found it necessary to do that. But now you can do the cuts across that way and see if it makes a difference. This is the way I normally do it. Alright, and right now you can see these are more scattered, but if I were to just go through and break these up, then this will be just as scattered as those. And that's what's going to happen in the pan anyway, is I'm pretty vigorous when I start. I throw them in the pan, I start spreading them out pretty vigorously, and they all break up anyway, so it saves me just a couple of steps. And anything that I can find that's, unnecessary, it's probably helpful if I just tell you. Alright, so here's our onion. Just scoot that over. Potato takes longer to cook than onion does, so they are going to go in together, even though we want the onion more cooked than the potato. Let's see. Now I'm not so sure how I usually cut potatoes. I think I'll just... Look how nicely that cuts through. That's what happens if you have a good chef's knife and you keep it nice and sharp and honed. I do have a knife sharpener. I've never shown you guys. I hardly ever use it, just because as long as I keep it honed, it's usually pretty good. So it's been a while since I've sharpened this knife. And I've told you before, this is a Cutco chef's knife. So I did go ahead and get the Cutco knife sharpener. I haven't used it in a while. As long as I keep it honed, it's usually pretty good. So for my purposes, I'm just not gonna worry about it being, cubed. This will be fine once I'm done with it in the skillet. All right. Got my onions, potatoes. All right, so I'm just gonna heat this up until I can feel it, up here. This is going to be a wine and oil recipe. You do need oil for this. I don't know, maybe you guys can figure a way to do it without oil, but the simplest version of this recipe I could come up with was a wine and oil recipe. So, I will be using some oil. Let's see. All right, that's perfect. It's pretty hot, which we want it to be. I'm gonna pour in some sesame oil. So I should say, this is a very mild sesame oil. A lot of the sesame oil you get will be very strong. So this might be more akin to a peanut oil. If you know that you have a pretty mild sesame oil, you can use that, but a peanut oil will work just fine. Now let's get in our onions and potatoes. That is the sound I want to hear. Get everything coated in oil. And you know what? I have this leftover lemon from the last recipe. I'm just gonna squeeze this in there. Actually, no. This is a good lesson. Acidity will make potatoes harden up. Not just potatoes, beans, anything that is starchy. If you put acid on it, it will harden up. So I'm glad I just realized that. I was gonna put this on now. I'll put this on later. And you just remember, one of the cooking concepts is if you have something starchy like beans or potatoes, never put, while it's still cooking, never put acid in it because it'll make it, tense up. But then the flip side of that is if you overcook your beans, if you overcook your potatoes and you want to firm them up, you actually can do that. You just put in some acid like vinegar or lemon juice and it'll firm up a bit. So yeah, use that at your convenience. All right. As you can probably see, I cooked it too long on one side. That'll be fine. I mean, I'm fine with it. But it's definitely soft enough now that I'm gonna start by adding some more oil. Just gonna loosen it up a bit because now we're about to add in the seasonings, the spices. And we're gonna start with our garam masala. Click in the link above if you would like to know how to make garam masala. I'm going to be very generous. I'm also going to add some garlic, some ginger, some turmeric, and some chili powder. Now would be a good time to add some lemon. Now this was a spare of the moment decision. I think it'll go great. If it does turn out to be nice, then I'll put it in the recipe. If not, you can ignore this. I'm going to turn off the heat now. Just mix all this together. Definitely want to salt this. Potatoes are starchy. They absorb a lot of salt, so season potatoes and starchy things very liberally. Alright, so you may be able to see I did add some peas and carrots to this mixture that we just made up. And then I have some this rice paper. I think it's usually used for spring rolls. For some reason we have a bunch of these, and so I specifically chose this recipe so that I could use up some of these. So we'll see how this goes. Off camera I did try to fry some of these, and it did not go very well. So I'm actually going to go to the baked method. So we have some oil here. We are going to coat the outside with oil. Then we have some water here. You'll see what I'm doing here. Alright, so I'm taking one sheet of the rice paper. I'm just going to get it damp on both sides. Alright, now it's clear. This one is broken, so we'll see how it does. I'm going to take a bit of my filling, put it over on one side, fold it in half, make sure it's covered over here. Fold it over like this into a cone. Pinch this together and fold it over. And I'll let that sit. So what I learned from that is I think I need to soak these just a little bit longer. When I did that one, it wasn't quite flexible enough. So we're learning together. You can kind of feel the flexibility of it. My thought when I was doing this one was that it would get a little bit more flexible outside of the water. It did not. And so I'm just gonna get this one a little bit more wet. All right. And then get a little chunk. Right here. Flip this in half. That, and over like that. Make a little cone, push down the filling. Hold it a little bit so it'll stick together. Set it right here. Set it up like this actually. Yeah. Alright, so I do think that worked a little better. Do the same thing. Alright, once again, fold it over, roll it into a cone. You see that, but making a little cone out of this, and then folding it over like that, holding it there for a moment because this gets pretty sticky, and then so when you wet it, it just becomes pliable, and then as it dries it gets very sticky. So these are actually I'm able to sit these up the way I would want them to be. So I'm going to go ahead and oil these down. I'm just going to take some oil, put it over the top, make sure the bottom has some, and then I'll place it on this little rack. I'm just going to keep doing these until I have a full tray. I'll see you in a moment. Alright, so I made some traditional samosa shapes, kind of an empanada shape, and just a little packet. Kind of folded everything inward, and we'll see how these cook. I have a toaster oven, or you can just use an oven set to 450 degrees. I'm going to put these in for about 30 minutes. every 5 to 10 minutes I'll check on it and possibly flip it. I do have this rack underneath, so I think these are going to be fine for the most part. I'll probably only flip them about halfway through, but I'll let you know how it goes. Alright, so it actually took about 40 minutes in a 450 degree oven. Has a nice crusty feel to it. So this is probably to a normal samosa like what a spring roll is to an egg roll. It's not the exact same consistency. I'll give it a try. I've let these cool for a while. Let's see. Oh, very nice crunch. Wow, okay. Yeah, this is a great way to use some of that garam masala you might have made from my previous video. Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full. Alright, I'd call that a success. Yeah, that's really nice. It is a bit stronger than I wanted, so in the recipe I'll adjust the amount of garam masala I put in there. But yeah, that's really delicious. I recommend that. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been my pleasure to do this project. If you want to support it, please click like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. Send them to other people who might be interested, especially if you have some Orthodox friends who want to follow some recipes they might be able to use for different times of the church year. I'm hoping this is going to be a good resource, getting some good feedback on that. Click in the description, you'll see the recipe, but then you also see a link to the Discord chat, and that's just a place where we'll talk about things off of YouTube, maybe go into more detail. I'll put out some extra resources, sneak peeks and such about what I'm going to be doing in the future, and then we'll just chat there. Thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great rest of your day. God bless.